Gunlance. My favorite weapon in Monster Hunter, and one of the weirdest weapons to play in Monster Hunter, regardless of which Monster Hunter you're talking about. But in this case, it is especially weird because we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate Gunlance. For starters, I guess I should mention, I know I haven't been posting a lot of videos. That's because basically I just decided to give a big middle finger to YouTube's algorithm and just do whatever the hell I want. So it's probably not going to be recommending this video to a lot of people. It is what it is. I just don't care at this point. I just want to do videos that I enjoy, and this particular video is one that I've been sitting on for quite some time because when Xenoblade Chronicles came out, I said to myself, I'm gonna play this game until I'm done with this game because it was the only Xenoblade Chronicles that I hadn't finished. So I've been playing that, I've been busy playing that, and it's a pretty long game as you can imagine. It's like 80 plus hours, something like that. So pretty much since that game came out, I've been exclusively live streaming and playing that. So I'm sorry, I guess. But anyways, let's get back to talking about Generations Ultimate Gunlance. This right here is a build that I came up with. I don't know if somebody showed you this build before because this game is a little bit old, so maybe someone came up with this idea as well. Although I doubt it because it's not very meta. As a matter of fact, if you want to do meta, for starters, you shouldn't really be playing a Gunlance to begin with. But if you must play a Gunlance and you want to do meta, the best way to do meta builds for Gunlance is, you know, get some sharpness, get some razor sharp, and then get as much affinity and critical skills and crit boost or attack up as you possibly can and stack that all up into a set and Bob's your uncle. Because that is essentially how you play Gunlance in a meta way. And you obviously want to go for wide shelling because it makes it easier to manage heat gauge. But that's not what I wanted to do. See, because I am a sucker for explosions. I've said this in the past. This is the main reason why I like the Gunlance. I like the big stick that goes boom, right? So naturally, I wanted to do a build that involved using some of the Gunlance's hunter arts, which a lot of people will tell you suck. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Maybe they suck, but at the same time, I just want to have fun with it, and this is the build that I came up for that. Maybe you enjoy it, maybe you don't. Usually I play with two other friends, but this build is also viable solo. As you guys can see, I'm going to be playing solo in the footage in the background, and I'm going to be hunting some random G-rank monster. I was thinking about doing a side quest with Rathian and Glavenus, but I have used it on harder hunts, but also I've been away from this game for the past couple of weeks because of playing Xenoblade, so I'm a little bit rusty. Anyway, what is this build all about? Well, for starters, we're going to be using the Alchemy style, which is something that you usually don't see people go for when it comes to Gunlance, for good reason. When it comes to Gunlance, people will usually tell you about their Adept Gunlance, which is really good because of the fact that, you know, you get your Adept Guard, you get your Adept Counter, which is beastly. It is potentially one of the hardest hitting attacks of the Gunlance, if I'm not mistaken. Some people go Valor, not necessarily for the shelling, but for the advantage that you have with Valor, with being able to dodge anything by just pressing a button, or even having access to the Infinite Valor combo, which is pretty beastly. But, you know, other people, like me on occasion, will do it for the actual shelling. You crazy people, you. Chaos Slayer is another one who goes for, you know, Valor shelling, which is pretty fun. I've done it myself. But, you know, after playing around with several styles, I really landed on an Alchemy style for a couple of reasons. Now, I told you guys I like using arts. In this particular build, we're going to be having AA Flares and Dragon Blast, which are basically two of the really big explosion arts. You don't need to do AA Flares because I know that a lot of people don't like AA Flares. You can also do Blast Dash. I know that a lot of people like that. I'm not the biggest fan of Blast Dash. I feel that it's a little bit awkward to use personally, but you know, it's an option that you can put there. And as a third art, I like having Absolute Evasion because that basically allows me to get out of tight situations where you might basically get murked if you're not careful. The two arts that are going to have SP, because with Alchemy style you can put SP on multiple arts, are going to be the AA Flare and Absolute Evasion because they don't have that big buildups. However, if you put SP on Dragon Blast, good luck using it more than once or twice per hunt, which is why I don't do SP on there. Now, the way that I do Alchemy, and it's like trying to explain people how Alchemy works, is probably a challenge in and of itself because a lot of people just don't get what you're supposed to do with Alchemy style, but basically you can shake your barrel and get a couple of items out of it. Now, usually what I tend to do is I go for the Alchemy booster, and I also have skills that benefit Alchemy as well. I'll talk to you guys about the skills in a minute. But usually I'll go and I'll shake the barrel 3 times to get Alchemy booster. So you gotta wait until the barrel fills up to number 3 and then shake it 3 times and you can get an Alchemy booster out of it. That speeds up how fast you can get alchemy stuff. And then I usually just let it go all the way to 5 and get an item which is called Alchemy Cheer that fills up your Hunter Arts gauge. And basically I use that to maximize the uptime on me being able to use my arts as often as possible. And also if you're playing with teammates, I don't have to emphasize that Alchemy Cheer is AoE. So all of your teammates get the cheer effect, which means they can use their arts more often. So not only you are becoming a devastating killing machine by employing your arts more often than usual, you're also enabling your companions to do that as well. Another item that I sometimes go for is the 4-shake Alchemy Fireball, which is not particularly powerful, but I just find it fun as hell. A friend of mine actually got me into that, Wada Nagashi, because you guys might have seen him if you've been in my live streams. Because, you know, I would always see Wada do this thing where he shakes his barrel, fireball comes out of it, and it hits monsters. It's another explosion, you know? It's like you get all of these explosions with AA flares, shelling, dragon blast, full bursts. And on top of it, why not actually have a ranged explosion to go with it? And I've actually downed a couple of monsters with it. It's pretty hilarious. And there's a couple of more useful items that you can also get with alchemy style. Like sometimes a monster is running away, right? And instead of using a regular whetstone, you pop yourself an alchemy whetstone, and that also gives you the effect of Hunter's Drink. It sharpens your weapon and gives you the effect of Hunter's Drink. Sometimes you can also use other things. There's plenty of stuff that you can do with alchemy, but the most important part is that you might just think of alchemy in terms of the items that you're getting, but you need to think about it in terms of the bonuses that you are getting from SP, which I feel like I should explain a little bit more about alchemy so that people understand why I went with it. But basically SP, once you max it out, which is after you've done a couple of alchemy items, in my case, usually I get, I believe, SP level 3 by the time I do the first cheer. So you do your alchemy booster, then you do your cheer, and then you get your 3rd level of SP. And why is that so important? So first level of SP, basically makes it easier for me, I think, to raise my alchemy. I actually forget what the first level of SP does. Oh wait, first level of SP is the same for everyone, but alchemy levels up its SP, so it becomes more powerful. In the case of alchemy, first level of SP just increases how fast your alchemy gauge fills up. The second level of SP reduces the rate at which stamina is used, which might be useful for some people, not particularly useful for me because you'll notice that I use Mega Dash juices, so not particularly important. The 3rd level of SP, that gives you super regen, so your life is constantly regenning, and that is a major deal. Like, trust me, you might think, oh, it's just a little bit of regen. It is massive, okay? It is really, really good. And then when you get to level 4 of SP, which is the maximum level, it also gives you 5% part break. So you get health regen and 5% part break when you max out your alchemy, which particularly when you get to G rank, your hunts tend to last a little bit longer. That effect really helps out throughout the entirety of the hunt. Also keep in mind that you're also going to be doing alchemy cheers all along the way, which means you'll be able to use your arts more often. So basically what alchemy does is the longer a hunt is, the more benefits you get from it. And considering that in G rank, particularly if you're playing solo or if you're doing some of the more challenging stuff with your friends, then maybe your hunts are taking a little bit longer. Alchemy is a really, really big boon, both in solo and in a team setting. So that's why I like alchemy. Anyway, let's talk about the set itself and then talk about the skills. Now, in terms of the Gunlance, I went for the Powder Keg Nova for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is I like the blast ailment. I know that not everybody likes it. Personally, I really like it because, again, that's even more explosions that I can add onto my builds. Just explosions up explosions up explosions. On top of it, this Gunlance looks badass. I just really like the way the Gunlance looks, and I've always wanted to use it. And it comes with maximum sharpness, therefore it does not require you to take the sharpness +2 skill, and opens me up to get a bunch of other skills. So this particular set, even though you can put any Gunlance that you want on here, ideally you want one that comes with maximum sharpness because we're not going to have sharpness +2. In terms of armor for the helmet, we're going to be putting the Candid Earring. Now this is a particularly hard to get piece of item because you're going to need to do a lot of arenas to get this. As a matter of fact, I would advise you to look up on Kiraniku how to get the Candid Earring because like I could be here the whole video. Basically you have to do all of the arena quests, including G rank, but some of them will only unlock after you do regular G rank quests. So it's just too hard for me to tell you, oh, you got to kill this thing, then this thing, then that thing, then this thing, then go to arena, do this. You know, just look up on Kironiku how to get the candied earring. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. And you got Celta's Mail X for your chest piece. You got Celta's Vambraces X for your gloves, Chrome Metal Coil X for your belt, and Arc Greaves GX, which are from Gormagala. Shigaru Magala. Sorry, Shigaru Magala. It's fairly easy to farm. And then you got a Creator Talisman in there, and that particular Creator Talisman has +8 artillery and 3 sockets. That's not going to be easy to get, but it took me quite a while to get a set that felt very comfortable, and this was it. Now look, when I show you guys the skills, a lot of you guys are going to be like, what the hell are these skills? These are skills designed to maximize effectiveness, but also maximize fun factor. So if you're not here to have fun, you're not going to like this build, okay? So the skills that we're going to be using in here is Artillery Expert, Razor Sharp, Guard +1. Now the Guard +1 is an afterthought just because all the parts put together, you could still have Guard +1 with very minimal effort. So we went for Guard +1 as well. Then you got Trump Card and Composed. Some of you guys are going to be like, what the Trump Card? Composed? Hell, the YouTube algorithm right now is probably flagging this video as political because I said the word Trump. Okay, just think about that for a minute. That's the world we live in right now. Anyway, what is Trump Card? Trump Card is basically whenever a monster gets downed, whenever a monster gets tripped, whenever a monster gets paralyzed or stuck in a trap, your Hunter Arts are going to deal 20% more damage. Or if your Hunter Arts have a duration, it is going to increase the duration of your Hunter Arts. This also counts for shelling Hunter Arts like AA Flare, which basically means AA Flare will deal more damage than normal. The other Hunter Art that I use, Dragon Blast, also deals more damage than normal. And, you know, it's just something that makes my Hunter Arts deal more damage, therefore incentivizing me to use my Hunter Arts more frequently, which I like. So I went for that. And then Composed is a skill called Insight, which basically makes it so that your Hunter Arts bars fill up faster and your Alchemy gauge also fills up faster. If you happen to be playing in Valor, this also makes your Valor gauge build faster. Basically anything that has a gauge, this thing makes it go faster. I don't know if it affects longswords. I don't think it does. Because I know all of you longsword guys out there, you mean I can get my Spirit Slash thing faster? Doubt it. Okay, I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But these are the skills that we are going to be running with. Now, I didn't just pick Alchemy because of the fact that you get 3 skills and all that stuff. That was one of the reasons. The other reason is also because Alchemy has a very interesting moveset when it comes to the Gunlance. Now, you're going to be losing your, what's it called? The upper thing, the upper poke, the poke that goes diagonally up. But it's not, I don't consider that to be a major loss, personally. Your regular attacks go poke, poke, slam, which is fine. But the unique thing that this has is that you can do pokes from a shielded position and end in a slam. So you can go the shield poke, and then slam. And that is a very good thing if you're a defensive player like me. And the Guard +1 just comes in as kind of like an added bonus to the whole thing that allows me to just like block a lot of attacks, kind of stay in range of the monster, and then like punish him whenever there's a big enough opening to go with a poke, poke, slam, and then a full burst, because this is a normal shelling Gunlance, so full burst is pretty good. And on top of it, you know, you can also lock your gauge using AA flares, which means you very rarely will be overheating. It's fairly easy to maintain heat using this Gunlance, and it's just a really fun time all around. Now, I understand a lot of people are going to be like, dude, imagine managing the heat gauge and alchemy gauge and all of these other things, but when you really start flowing with this build, it feels great. And again, it's not the best or the most meta, but I honestly don't care, because what I really want is something that allows me to kill monsters in a really stylish way, and this definitely delivers with that. Like, seriously, if you have the components to do it, try it out. If not, then, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully you still enjoyed the video. Hopefully you still enjoyed the gameplay that you got to watch from this crazy explosive build that I made. And yeah, the next video that I'm going to be working on, I'll be talking a little bit about Xenoblade, which I already know is not going to get that many views because You know, YouTube already put me in the Monster Hunter box, particularly the Monster Hunter World box. So any video that I do that's not Monster Hunter World, YouTube doesn't even bother distributing it because it's just the way these things are. I don't know. I've reached the point where I don't really care. But after that one, I'm probably going to be taking a bit of a break because I got some stuff that I want to work on. And yeah, but you know, I'll still be around making videos every now and then. But the pacing of it is going to slow down for the foreseeable weeks or so, because I also need to take care of myself a little bit. It's been pretty hectic, been live streaming a little bit too much, and need to think things through. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, as per usual. If you guys enjoyed the video, like it. If you did not enjoy the video, dislike it. Feedback is always important. Feedback you can also leave in the comment section down below. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to stay safe out there with all of the situations that are happening right now throughout the world. Stay safe, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and I'll see you guys around.